Hey guys, something a little different in this video here. So I know it's not exactly Subaru related, but still pretty cool. Along with the older Subarus, I'm also quite into the older Hondas. I have a couple myself. I had a fella reach out from New Brunswick about building him an EK Civic. So to get things rolling, he sent me some money to go and find him a car to start with. His criteria is an EK Civic, hatch or coupe. He does want it to have the JDM B18C, which is the Japanese Integra Type R engine. So let's see what we can find for him. All right, found a candidate. On our way home with the said candidate here. Let me tell you, boys, she boots. So we're just under a bridge here. I'll give you a sound sample. It's not too loud, which I kind of like. Hopefully we get to do a little pull merging onto the highway here, but this is typical Toronto traffic, so we don't get to boot as much as we'd like to boot. I'll show you what this tech is all about. So we landed on a 1998 Civic Si Coupe. It has the JDM Integra Type R engine in it and transmission. I don't know if it's been tuned. It does have a nice intake, nice header, nice catback, relatively clean car. You know, I took it for a rip around the block when I was checking it out. Did drive really nice. For a 1998 Honda Civic, it actually does drive incredibly nice. Has no power steering, no AC, very cliche vintage Honda dude type setup. Car doesn't rattle horribly bad compared to most of them, and it does really pull well, and it does sound really nice. So hopefully we get a little sample here. Just having way too much fun. This is awesome. All right, I'll come back in when I get out of the city and the city. I've been driving this for like an hour and a bit now. It drives like incredibly well, like shockingly well. I've got Cole behind me in my car, and we stopped there to get some food. I asked him if it was bellowing out any smoke, and like I've been ripping it, like really ripping it, having a lot of fun. And he's like, man, there's not even a single essence of smoke. Transmission feels really good, shifts really good. The inside of the car doesn't rattle. The exhaust system itself, you know, quite high performance, but like very nice to drive at highway speeds, like not really insanely loud or anything like that. Like I'm going 80 kilometers an hour right now and you can barely hear it. No drone or nothing like that. The suspension, like whatever the dude has in here for suspension, like it is perfect, like absolutely perfect. Really enjoying this drive. For the year of 2023, this has probably been the most thrilling car for me to drive. Like I'm having a lot of fun. I do love these old Hondas, especially with this power plant, the sound of the B-Series VTEC, like just letting it rip. It does not have a VTEC gauge cluster in it, so I'm wrapping the tach around back to like 0. It only goes to 8,000 RPM on this tach, and like I am wrapping it back around to 0, and I am just having the time of my life. So next step from here, we'll get a couple more driving shots. You can kind of get a walk around of the body. We'll throw it up on the hoist, show you what we got, go through the details of everything in the car. It is quite awesome. checks all the boxes in the client's list for what he wanted out of a Civic, and from there that leaves me with just trying to pretty it up, make it a nice little showpiece for him, and ship it across the country. Here we are, guys, with the Civic we picked up. We're gonna work our way through the car. So we have a JDM Integra Type R motor and transmission. Does have a header, AEM fuel rail, and a nice cool carbon Kevlar intake. Nice little strut brace there. This is very much an all motor in the sense that it has no power steering, no air conditioning. It doesn't even have a washer fluid bottle. Some sweet wiring. Nice aluminum rad there. Braided clutch slave line there as well. Some nice spikes. Those are a little dated these days. The header is a Skunk 2 there. We'll kind of start at this corner here. So it does have some really cute little Willwood 4-pots, some Rhoda slipstreams, some all-season tires, Track Life fender cutouts. Not sure if we're gonna keep those or not. Does have these cool little skirt extenders here. Not sure if they're gonna stay. Very faded black housing headlights. Little tilty bumper bracket. We're gonna end up shaving the front bumper anyway. Get a lip on the bottom. Overall, the body's in pretty decent condition. Quite well for its age. It had been repainted at some point. The only rust on the exterior body is a little bit of bubbling here. When I went to go see the car, I actually brought a jack. We spent quite a while checking it out before we bought it. I was able to look in here. It is still all metal and it's really decent. It's just a little bit of rust starting there. We're gonna end up chopping that out and replacing it with new metal. For the most part, it has a complete trunk. The trunk gets held up by a bar. It has no springs for some reason. Came with some K-tuned front upper control arms, wash mitt. Then my favorite, very period correct, an Alpine 6-disc CD player in the trunk that is actually not mounted or connected, but that's sweet. Probably gonna have to install that. Some bonus OEM gaskets. So this is just an SI. There's a little cracked tail light there. Again, does look really nice in the red. Has a really nice engine back exhaust. We'll get into that once we get the car up. Down the driver's side, super clean. This is all metal and all original. So that is really, really great. Again, there's some more evidence of the paint job at some point. They got it on a lot of the trim edges here and there, but that's nothing we can't fix. Steering wheel, very classic Honda dude. No airbag, no horn. Power windows both work, sunroof work. The driver's seat is actually permanently stuck that low. That's how you have to drive it, but that's also part of the culture with these. So these are out of an Integra. Rear seats, unsure where they came from. They are leather. They are also exploding leather. Now with the car up, we'll work our way along underneath. So the Skunk 2 headers, very typical of the Honda dudes. I've seen better days. They're slightly more aerodynamic now. The pan as well is taking a couple scrapes here and there. Braided lines on the Willwoods. Otherwise for rust, it is relatively solid. The worst part I've found yet is up in this frame here. You can see kind of the hole in the middle is a bit of a perforation, so it's gonna have to be cut out and welded. It has Omni coilovers in it. They actually ride really, really nice. Like, really impressed with them. I'm not sure if they're good or if they're bad. I thought they were a really nice ride. As for the cat back, I would assume that this was made by somebody rather than manufactured, because it has way too many welds to have been something someone would have bought, but it is really nice and does sound really nice. And it looks really good out the back of the car, like subtle. Going down the rockers and the lift points here. Again, very solid, little bit of surface rust here and there. This again is little bit of surface rust there. And not too bad back here. It was well oiled through its life. Again, this stuff here, we're just gonna wire wheel, clean it up and re-wax it. Going down the driver's side, almost looks better than the passenger side. Little bit of action starting there. And relatively clean, solid otherwise. Has some, I'm not sure the brand on these, but some nice rear control arms, some nice rear adjustable upper control arms. It still has the drum brakes in the rear. We're likely going to be converting that to disc. Along the back unibody, not too bad at all. The bumper beam is bad, so we'll probably get a new bumper beam. And otherwise, yeah, I'd say this is a nice candidate and will work really well for the build goal. Filler neck there, a little crusty. Again, these don't really get a lot of washing or oiling up in there because they are covered by the shield. So we may end up replacing the filler neck just so he doesn't have any problems. And I'd say overall, this is a very solid car for its age. It's a 1998, so it is quite old, especially coming from the Rust Belt here. Somebody definitely loved this car during its life and did all they could to try and preserve it. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead, make a big list on what the car needs, what kind of parts we're looking for, start to fulfill the list, and then we can get into actually tearing this thing apart and putting it together. Video here. Hope you enjoyed this part one on this Honda build here. Next step is we're gonna try and find all the parts that the guy wants for the build. Alrighty fellas, till the next one. Only the Honda dudes, for whatever reason, they want their head looking out of this rear window.